Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and in today's video we're going to figure out what on earth just happened. So to the money tree, it is definitely on fire. Exactly what and how we're going to try and explain to you in a bit. We definitely didn't expect to have a video out on the money tree right now, because we actually did one here only 9-10 days ago, and back then we were just reviewing the first 3 weeks of trading. With the EA, it had revealed a couple of things which we called the secret strategy in there. That secret strategy was not really publicly known, I think, for most traders before they started to trade with this, and definitely it was not known to us either. We highlighted it, and obviously it is a bit of a concern, but then again, you can basically get yourself out of it with some of the settings that the developers do provide in here. Now, in this particular video, and if you haven't seen it, we definitely suggest you go in and have a look at that one. So because then everything that we say here also will make a bit more sense. Definitely, we had a look at the British pounds USD, and one of the things that we saw here with that was it put in basically a buy trade. And as you can see, this is the yellow dot you have up there. And the price went against it. And as the price continued to drop, it now put in a second buy. This time around, it was a bit higher. So the first one was 0.2 lot. The next one was 0.32 or 34, if I remember correct. And after that, the price corrected. And then overall, we came out with a small little profit, which was absolutely fine. But this strategy was still a bit of a mystery to us, because it wasn't really covered in any of the manuals. And obviously a very important factor to take into consideration when you want to set up lot sizes, account sizes, and so on and so on. But definitely we came over this, and we came out in a nice little profit also for the particular week. In the video here, we also do some comparisons in between the two brokers that we are trading this one on. You can see we traded both the Euro USD, and in this particular case on the graph, it was the British pounds USD that we were interested in. And that is actually also the one we're interested in here today, because it's that particular currency where things really has happened on the money tree on the developer side. So normally every week we send out a profit report. So plus and minus, whatever it is, we obviously share it openly and consistently. And for the last week, we ended up with the 0 on both broker accounts. We do have one current trade that is still in minus, and it's only one trade overall. And after that, we didn't really see anything happening after what you have seen the trades up here on the 9th. So we were starting to wondering exactly what has happened so to the money tree, and started to have a closer look and also go on their website. Now, you can see the profits that we set up on our website, so it looked pretty good, and this is normally where we get all the data and details from every single week. This one here is the FX Blue for the Blaze broker, and we have a similar one for the IG broker here that you can follow all the way through. So it follows all the trades, and you can also see it has 8% so on the Blaze broker, and just over 7% on the IG broker. So things are actually working okay. And from our trading perspective, we didn't see any major changes. Now, when we then went on the FX, my FX book, which is where they have basically linked up the money tree, you can imagine our surprise when we saw this. Now we understand this is a small little one, but you can see it has a great dip in here. And also it will tell you what was the equity before and what was the highest one. And we can basically see a drop of 14,900 and a bit in there. And also for the month, as you'll see on the bottom of the screen here, we are also in minus. Now, obviously, big surprise for us, because our money tree is working okay, but clearly we have different settings compared to the developers here, and it looks like they have been a bit too aggressive. So let's go and have a look on the site itself to see what on earth just happened. When we take a closer look here at the My FX book, the first things obviously come to mind is the drop that we had here, which happened on the 3rd of February. And then you can see closed off on the 5th. So everything was good on the 3rd, and that's also what you have here. You can see the highest profit you had on that particular account, 65,790. And since then, it has basically dropped off. And let's go and have a look at some of these ones here instead, because again, you can see when you look at the balance itself, you can actually see there has been other times where it has gone down. The balance was 65,790, as you can see here. And then if we can match it up correctly, let's see. It was here on the 5th, 53,300. So it's probably what it says here, 51. Yeah, so just about there. Everything is a bit tight, and we can see its equity has gone even down to 47. So definitely took a huge hit. If we go and have a look at the profit itself, we can see what has happened here and the daily profits itself. Now I said 19,900, and this particular one says 14,692. I'll explain that when we go down to the 2 individual trades, why there's a small difference. I'm not exactly sure if this one is correct or the bottom one is correct. It doesn't really matter. The fact is that it had a huge drawdown and actually closed off a bit of the trade. Now, if we have a look at the drawdown in here, so which is quite good to see. So with my FX book, we can see the drawdowns from previous times. Most of the time, it's not too bad. We do see, however, it goes to 10% quite frequently. And back in April 2022, and also here in October 2022, it came in about 18%. Since then, we had quite a few drawdowns. And this is our particular part. You can see on the 3rd here, we had a drawdown of 18.9. That seems to have worked okay. But look at this one here. Ended up at 22.33. And again, the drawdown itself is for the entire portfolio here. And again, this is part of what the money tree does. When the setups, you can decide exactly the drawdown or where to close off your trades itself. And on this particular one here, we also have another one on the 6th, 20%. And then it drops off again. But this is the peak itself that actually triggered a couple of closing trades, and we're going to have a closer look at them right now here. So if you look at the month itself, you can see that there is a recovery phase. So it has already done quite well compared to what you saw on the growth and on the balance to begin with. So that is moving in the right direction for sure. But if we have a look at the trades itself, we have to go to the bottom here, and we are looking at this, the British pounds USD, and we have to go one back. You can see the first one here was initiated, so on the 3rd and at 4 o'clock, and then it closed off on the 5th at 10 o'clock in the evening, 22.06, and down by 5,434, almost 10% for that particular one. The other one we'll find up here. And again, you can see this was also initiated on the 3rd, and they were closed at 22.05. So basically they were closed at the same time, as quickly as the brokers will allow. And again, here you can see the closing price. So the opening price was 22 and it was a buy. So definitely it went the wrong way, minus 234 pips. Down of profit, 9,480. So you put those two together and you're getting closer to our number than what you see on my FX book, but we'll split the difference here. Duration was 2 days, but you can see the gains is minus 14.4%. So definitely a hefty one. Now up until then, we have pretty much the same trades all the way through, and that is how it should be. But this particular one, it kicked off, and after that you can see there's quite a few trades, and some of these trades we actually don't have on our brokers, neither of the two, and that is again because we were still in a drawdown, and this one here closed on the 5th, ours closed on the 9th, so we stayed in the game, but we also had a different risk that we had set it to, where the developers here seems to have gone with the 20%. We have set it at 30. And on top of this, I also think that we run a slightly smaller lot size, but I'll explain a bit more about that once we're finished here. And basically what I came for back then was then we see the last trade, which was the Euro British Pound. And both of them also ended up in positive results. But those trades were the last ones. They were actually from the 9th of February. So, and as we're shooting this video, we have already moved into now the 22nd. And obviously it looks like the developers is having a closer look at the heavy drawdowns that you saw here in the graph before, and might reconsider adjusting some of the platforms, because previously the drawdowns has been reasonable. If they have increased some of the numbers or the lot sizes, we are not exactly sure if that is what they have done, but definitely it has taken a big hit. But again, it all depends on some of your settings. So let's have a closer look at exactly how these settings, how you can change it if you already have the Money3 EA. You obviously want to know all these things, and hopefully you have figured it out by yourself first. So as we explained before, the Money3 EA is a fairly simple one. It's a black box one. There's not many adjustments that you can do, but there is adjustments when it comes into risk, and that's what you're seeing here. You can basically change the lot size, and in the manual there is a reference to what the developers call a low, medium and high risk, and we're going to take a look at that in a second. But the part that is very important, as you can see here also, that the developers basically either missed or misjudged here, is the stop loss balance. And the 30 basically relates back to 30%. And as you can imagine here, so what has most probably happened is that the settings for the developers themselves were set at 20%. So they took the hit there, instead of like us at that particular time, we had set it at 30. The maximum drawdown that we had on our account was closer to the 16%. And that has something to do with the lot size we set up. Plus, of course, also the max orders has a great influence also of how exactly many orders you want to have. The more orders you have, the higher risk it is that they can go against you. And obviously, yes, you can make more money if you have more open orders, but you have to be sensible and reasonable again, and always assume the worst. And that's also what we did, and that's why you see our settings is like this. We might make a bit less than some of the other, but definitely we didn't take a big hit, as you saw the developers did here. Now the manual itself, as I said, it doesn't really have many things in there, and we are going with a $10,000 account because that's how we are trading, and we are also going with a low risk, so we set it up at 0.2, and that is the way that we like to trade at the moment. Especially when you look at some of those numbers that you have seen from developers now, compared to what we have, it is definitely a sensible and reasonable setting that we have set it at, and definitely we're not going to change it anytime soon. Now you can go and find more about all these trades that has been happening. Obviously you can both do it on the developers site here, but you can also go to ours where we again trade it on both Blaze and IG brokers here, to ensure that you have a good idea of how actually the robot itself works. So please go and have a look there. Now, so what exactly did we learn from all this? Well, some people will go out and obviously say if they also lost money here, which we know some of the traders did in that particular move. So we have seen a few traders that had either set the lot size too big or simply put the percentage too low. This is something to learn from. It has nothing to do with the company itself being a scam. It's all up to you. You are the one that's setting the parameters. You are the one trading it. But obviously, you definitely need to understand exactly how this works. And the developers here even got caught on their own EA. And definitely something in their algorithms might have changed, or the market has changed and they didn't follow up on that. That definitely can happen. It's always difficult to look ahead in trading here. But what we take from it is that definitely the robot is only doing what you are telling it to do again, and that is always the issue here. So you want to look in the rearview mirror and make some changes after the fact, but obviously that doesn't work. So please always be careful when you trade this money EA, like any other EA here. So it does exactly what you tell it to do. So it's up to you to determine your risk factors in here. And it says again, have a look at what we do. There's only 3 settings for that particular robot again, and that is your lot size, how much you actually want to make, or how steady an income do you want to have, how much of a percentage for the account itself are you ready to risk. Again, if you set it too low, obviously, yes, you don't lose too much, but you might lose too many times overall. And then at the end of the day, also, how many trades exactly do you want to have open at any given time? And that means that even though you have some that goes in a long drawdown, similar to what we just had here, then you're losing out on other trades, like you can see the developers had here on the index site. And again, you have to balance that one out. We are quite happy with how it works for us, but obviously we need to understand exactly why there hasn't been any trades ever since the 9th of February. So we're going to reach out now here also and talk to developers and see if there is adjustments to the robot that we are currently waiting for before it's going to start trading again. So I hope I gave you a bit of an insight as to what exactly happens with the money tree here. It seems to be working well, but you and you alone can manage the risk. And in order to manage risk, we have to understand how this robot is actually trading. And that's why we sent out this extra video that was never really intended. But I think it's very important that people watch this one to exactly understand the risks that are involved in trading this particular EA. So I hope to have some good news and some updates, of course, also either on our news report or on the next video with the money tree here, where we're going to hopefully share some more profits, some more positive stories in the future. So until then, I hope I see you on one of my other videos. Bye-bye.